Hi guys, and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different style with the medieval. We're going to be going into the more peasant style using these hay bales that we have. They're kind of new-ish blocks. They're not really new blocks, they've been around for a bit, but they're kind of newer ones, and I want to show you guys the kind of more lower class that you can actually use kind of as farms and things like that. You can use them on farms and smaller kind of villages rather than actual towns. So this is going to be just to build this really simple one, and then I'm going to basically at the end of the video show you how to expand it, add like expansions onto the side, adding the chimney on the back, those kind of things to kind of meet your purposes and to give you a couple more ideas of what you can do with this style, and it will kind of broaden your kind of ideas really. So the kind of materials we're going to need are cobblestone just for this bottom layer. I don't advise using something like stone brick just because it will look too kind of upper class, even in the default texture pack. You're also going to need some sort of planks. I use oak wood planks for these. Hay bales as the main roof. If you don't have those yet, you can always use something like your woods. Just use a different type of wood, maybe birch wood instead, and you could just put in the planks or you can put in the stairs. Either way will work kind of just fine. So you kind of can switch out if you haven't got those yet. You're also going to need your fence and a wooden door, and that's pretty much it for this build. Very simple building materials. If you guys are in kind of survival as well, it will kind of give you a nice little house. It is tiny inside, but as I'll show you the kind of expansions and the ways to actually build this in any shape and any size you can, we'll kind of go through that. So let's get started. Okay, so to build the actual basic framework of this, and then we'll kind of expand it, all you're going to do is just place down 7 pieces of cobblestone. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be your longest wall. If you wanted it obviously longer, you can just extend it a little bit longer. It's also going to be 5 wide, so we've already got this one block here. Then we go 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then bring this one back here, and then you can just join it up without placing too many down, like I just did. So it'll give you this kind of basic box. Then just grab your oak wood planks and place them directly on top. If you want to as well, and if you want to have the kind of hay bales on the floor, so you can actually have this layer here starting all the way down here if you wanted to, and kind of create a really shallow roof. I will go through one of those styles kind of later on in another tutorial, but you can just basically leave out this layer and then just build up on top. But the next thing we're going to do is just add in on each of these sides just 3 blocks and then 1 block, and this will give us the basic shape for the roof. So you can already see the kind of basic shape that we've got, very, very small. We're just going to punch out this here and plonk in a door. I like to put in my doors this way because it gives it a bit more kind of depth going backwards. On the other side as well, what we can do is we can either cut out one here and just put in a fence. As it's lower class, I can use fences for these. Or you can actually put in 2 fences to make a bigger window at the back. Obviously as well, you could, instead of having it on those 2 sides, you could just have 2 windows like that, but I don't like that too much. I really do prefer to go up the middle like that, really simply. So now if you grab your hay bales, what we're going to do is we're basically going to be on 1 block above the floor. It depends on really your texture pack, but with John Smith's, I kind of prefer it looking this way, because the other way, and I'll show you guys what I mean in a second, if we actually do it the other way on this side, it kind of comes across this way, and it just looks too busy on the side, but it does give you a completely different style depending on your texture pack. And if I actually just switch to default, just to show you guys what it looks like in default as well. So this is what it looks like in default. Pretty simple, but you can still see the same kind of style, and again, if you've got them going sideways, you can create a completely different style. I just think that this looks smoother in general with it going kind of that way, so that you've got these kind of bindings going across. So I'll just switch back to John Smith and we'll continue the house. Okay, so then the next layer, these ones are just going to be basically on top of these, and we're just going to have to add an extra one on the front. And actually I forgot to put one on the back here as well. Just have an overhang, and an overhang's really, really useful to do in Minecraft, as it gives you a different feel. So if I just put onto this just a couple of extra blocks, just to basically use as a guide here, and we can actually do this with all of them. I'm just going to put in these wooden planks on these 2 bits, just so that we can basically complete it really quickly. And we got one there, right on the top again. Just going to have this as well. Put these down, and then the other side will be exactly the same as well. I'm just going to do these end parts first. And then we can also go across here. I'm just going to lay down these. Oh, without trying to take out the ground. There we go. So continue just basically putting them on. It's very simple style. And this one, or at least the base of this house, will be very, very simple. So there we go. That gives us the kind of real basic part of the house. I'm actually just going to go onto the inside now. And if we just get rid of these extra wooden planks that we've used. Sometimes for actually laying out the kind of inside bits, I usually use a random block like pink wool, for example, because then I know I can take it away and it's just for a guide. But just to finish it off, so you can see it's pretty simple. If you just grab your fence and just put one on the sides, and also just fill these parts in, and it kind of makes it feel like it's being connected in slightly. And you can do the same on the other side as well, just put in these fence pieces. And also right in the middle, I actually put in an extra one here as well. If we just jump down around to the other side, put that in. Now there's a couple things you can do here, but what we'll do is actually just grab a ladder, and I'll also show you what to do if you want to use rails as well. You can actually use them. But just one block in, what I did is you can either go up with rails to make it look kind of like it's tied down. I'm not too keen on the rails. If you've got a texture pack that actually has the rails switched out for a rope, as I've seen in some custom texture packs, you can actually use that. Otherwise, you can also use ladder as well. So you can place these just in these two places here, or also in the middle. So just put those in. This will just give it a little bit more detail, make it look like it's being held down a bit better. And also, if you wanted to get onto the roof, you've now got a way, which is quite cool. So that kind of gives you the real basic house. There's quite a few other things you can do with it as well. If you actually grab something like wooden stairs and also a wooden slab, you can change this kind of front part here for, you know, steps, and then this one you can put in this way, or those kind of things. So you can actually have it going this way, and then we would of course take out some of these fences, but put in upside down stairs. So you can do something like that to make it look a little bit different. I'm not too keen on it, but you can always do that, and you can also, of course, put this one in this way. You could also raise this entire front part up, instead of having it one down. If we actually go 1, 2 here, you can have your stair on this part, and this is where it's going to get a bit difficult with that, so I'll just take out these ladders for the time being, but you can have it basically one higher. And again, I'll just get rid of this just to show you guys what I mean, and add an extra fence here. I'm just going to change it completely to, there we go, completely to day. And there, and you can also put them in here, underneath. So you can also do something like this, and then you can add, if you wanted to, add some sort of flick piece here, or something, you know, you can always add something in here, or maybe even actually extend this out. This might look a little bit better if you extend this out, and put this in here, possibly. Go over to that, so you can do something crazy like that, and the only problem with that is you can see those pieces there, so you'd have to kind of switch those out, either that or kind of extend these down a bit more, make it really thick, and then actually have your pieces in here. And I'll just do that quickly, so I'm just going to take out these and then put in your upside down stairs here, and possibly put in a block like that, but that looks ridiculously thick, so I definitely don't advise that. But what I'm trying to get out of this kind of tutorial on those kind of front styles is you can do a lot with it as well. If you do end up doing the front part as well, you could put, you know, your kind of wooden logs off here. If you did a couple of them and you had them on both sides, you could have the middle having it as well, just to add a bit of different style. But I'm going to go with the basic one just to show you guys kind of how to extend it, how to add extensions on, and those kind of general bits. So let's just rebuild this here and add that in there, and we'll go with the basic frame. Oh, and I've got one wrong there. So there we go. So that gives us the kind of basic bit, and I'm just going to replace this ladder here, and I think, yeah, we've got to do a couple on the other side. So there we go. So now we've got the basic house again. What you might want to do with this as well is possibly add on the back, instead of having this back section here, you might want to actually have, for example, a chimney. So at the minute, you know, it's very, very kind of basic. Where are you going to have the kitchen? And you could have a fireplace right here. So what I'll do is I'll go with you guys and actually show you what to do. So I'm just going to grab stone stairs and cobblestone, and I'm going to be building this with you guys. So what you might want to do is actually extend this out. So you've got this part here, and we're just going to grab this up to this point, and we'll go out by one block on this, and then we'll have a stair here, and an extra block. What we can also do here is actually put in a block like that, take out this middle point possibly, and put in something like that, or of course bring it all the way up. And what this will give us, which cut down, there you go, so now you've got an actual kind of chimney, and it's kind of extended out a little bit, and you can actually push this quite a bit back right to this point. And then if we go back out again, you could as well have the block going over this way. Depends on how you want to kind of mold it into the actual build, because you could also have this going up, and if you do that, I probably definitely advise putting in something like this. So if we grab that there, so then you got this kind of back chimney piece, and if we have a look at that on the inside, you've got this kind of piece here, and you could also, if you've got this one here, you could actually cut out this and build up like that. And then we've got some sort of chimney piece which looks quite cool, and maybe even put that in upside down, or that, or also, what have we got? We've got a cauldron, so you can actually have the fire in here, have a cauldron. So yeah, that'd be quite good, but just be careful with fire because it might set fire to everything else, as this is a pretty flammable building. But there's a couple of ideas. You can also do those as well, or these two. I'm just trying to give you guys kind of a lot of different ideas here. So you could also put in cobblestone wall as well. So that's how you could build like a pretty easy fireplace. Just going to add it onto the back of it, just like that. And yeah, that's pretty simple. You could also, you know, instead of actually having this extending all the way, just have it extending a little bit to maybe here, and then possibly, you know, capping it off or something like that, and or putting in a full block and just put on something like this, or just have the cobblestone wall going up a couple bits like that. So you can kind of mess around with it. I think that looks a little bit too small. You could also, you know, have a couple blocks going up so that it's a lot thinner. Make it really tall. A couple ideas anyway that you guys can mess with. And also with these side parts, you could put in a stair here and a stair here, and put on a block, and I think that actually looks a lot better. Probably move this down just to here and put in something like that. That looks quite cool. I quite like that. And then with this kind of styling, what you can do, and this is something I always use, is cut out a couple of these, and you can put in an upside down stair and then a normal stair, and it'll kind of add a little bit of detail. Or you can move this down to here, and then actually have it there. You know, so you can add a bit of detail as well with moss stone. Switch out a couple of these blocks for it, and that will instantly kind of make it look a little bit more natural. There we go. So lots of ideas with a kind of chimney piece. What I'll do is actually fly over to this one to show you guys how to add an extension onto the side. So if we just cut out up to this point here, possibly, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3 maybe on this 2 extension, or we could have it going all the way here and have a really kind of big extension, which is what I'm going to go with. So I've got this kind of newly kind of created a 3x4 gap because the wall was down here. And we're going to do it exactly the same way we did before. If we just grab our oak wood planks, put them on top of this, like that, and then go onto the outside. And we'll just do exactly what we're going to be kind of doing before. I don't advise going around the corner, it makes it look too boxy, so I always take off these corners. So we have this. And keep going around, and then you're connected there. Next one, this one will pretty much just be on top. And then we can cut out these 3 middle ones. This instantly creates a kind of boxy feel, so then the rest of it will be a really boxy feel. So what I do is I cut out this one, and actually cut out that piece of wood there to create this 3 blocks here, and then 3 blocks on the side. And then I'm just going to put in some oak wood planks just on this part, just to add in the next layer. So we've got these going around here. And then cut out this one, and again we can actually go into here and put in these points. And you might actually want a window here possibly, but we'll do that in a second. And then it's just the last bit here where we can just add in those couple of extras. And that instantly kind of creates this kind of side part, and it makes it look a lot more interesting. And you can see how different it is. And then obviously if you wanted the chimney on this one, you can add it straight onto the back of this part here. And if we go back inside, I'm just going to get rid of this just to show you guys how big it's kind of made it. So we'll get rid of these blocks and those blocks. And you can see the kind of size difference that we had before. We would have been blocked off right here, very, very small. But now you can have like you know, the actual chimney here, and you can have a bedroom in at this point. So now let's go about actually adding a window in. So with this side part, what we need to do is if we just cut out this one, and this is where we want the window. So if I grab fence here, there you go. So if we just grab the fence, shove in the fence here, what we need to do is actually just raise this up, and that'll make a small window. And then we can also actually quite simply just add an extra block in there, and that's pretty much done it. And just to make this a little bit smoother, what I'm going to do is jump down here and have that wrapping around as well. And we could actually just leave it like that. I think that looks a lot better and a lot nicer. So we got this very, very simple window. You could make it a bigger window if you wanted to, and if you actually had a block of wool, a wood even, I always use those to kind of say where I don't want to cover up. You could have this going like that, and then that just kind of extends off. And again, that's created a kind of different style, but it looks very, very smooth. And then you got this kind of more kind of bigger looking window from the outside, even though it's exactly the same on the inside. It just looks a little bit bigger on the outside, and I quite like that as well. So there's a couple of kind of ideas. Obviously, if you've got your ladder as well, you can apply this, and it does get very, very complicated when you start doing these kind of parts, these kind of extension parts. With the actual fence, if I did this extension, I'd put them on these kind of edge parts here, and again on that kind of window bit. Probably put one in there as well, so you can just see how it's kind of working its way out. You could also, obviously this extension, you could copy directly to the other side as well. You can make this house really long and have loads of different extensions and things like that, and kind of make it kind of maze. But that's a pretty simple design. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the tutorial. If you have, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.